Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Now today I'm taking a second look at the SONY ZV-1 Mark II, which I have here. Now I've had this now for just over 2 months, 2.5 months. I've been using it extensively for both as a travel camera for going out and about with my point and shoot out and about camera, and also for here in the studio, primarily for getting the close-up shots. But you see I'm getting here. I'm actually using my original ZV-1 for getting the close-up shots today, but I would normally be using the ZV-1 Mark II, because this does have a few advantages over the original ZV-1 for what I use it for. Now, it's a great travel camera, it's pocketable, it's really lightweight. It's only 300 grams all in. That's with the battery, the SD card, the camera, everything, 300 grams. So shove it in your pocket easy, jacket pocket, even trouser pocket. I usually use it on a pouch on my pocket, so on my belt. So works great. 3-inch articulating screen, you know the score, and a retractable zoom lens. Really, really nice. I think they actually say it goes down to about 18mm at the wide end, because the original ZV-1 was about 24mm, so not really wide enough for vlogging. Now I didn't buy this for vlogging, I don't do vlogging. I bought it because I wanted the wider angle for doing me street photography when I'm going out and about taking these sort of photographs when I'm walking around town, or you know, any town really. And they're beautiful images. It's a really nice sharp lens on here, and it's widest end. It goes as wide as f1.8, so it's pretty decent. That does go down as you zoom in through the range, so it isn't a constant f1.8. That would have been a much bigger lens. So they've had to compromise. Obviously everything is a compromise when you're building a really compact little camera such as this. I do like the fact it's got the touchscreen. I found this very useful because it is compact. There's very few function buttons on this camera. It's very much like the ZV-E10 Mark II. That hasn't got a great deal of function buttons, but they made up for it by the touchscreen. Now the touchscreen is completely touchscreen, unlike the original ZV-1. So you can get to your menus, you can swipe up, that brings up the quick function menu, so you can change your settings, whether, for example, there I've got that set for human detect. I can now change that to animal detect. You can change your white balance, you can change all sorts. It has got the one command dial on the back here. It's a little spin wheel. It's a shame there isn't one on the top, but you know, it is what it is. And I've got that one, if I'm in aperture priorities, to set that to the aperture, or if you're in shutter priority, that will set the shutter speed. And you can set it up for exposure compensation, whatever you want to set it up for. It has got one function button on the top here and another one on the bottom here. Now that one was originally set up for defocus, so it would set the lens to the widest aperture to get that sort of depth of field. I don't need to do that because I would set the aperture manually anyways. I know how to do that. I've got that pre-assigned now for setting the mode, so I can select what mode I want to be in, whether it be aperture priority, shutter priority, manual, or in this case I've got it in intelligent auto, which I tend to use quite a bit when I'm going out and about, because I find that works really, really well. There is no in-body image stabilization in this camera. You wouldn't expect it, it's far too tiny. But it has got electronic steady shot for video, but with stills I just make sure I either set a slightly faster shutter speed, or when I leave it in intelligent auto, the camera seems to know that it has to set a slightly faster shutter speed, and it'll adjust the ISO accordingly. Now, although it has only got a 1-inch sensor, that doesn't affect image quality, to be honest. Unless you're going in really low light, then obviously you will see the noise creep in at higher ISO settings. But you don't notice it on these images. They're really, well, there isn't any noise. It's just so clean. It's such you know, it's such a nice camera to use as your little pocketable travel camera. Again, colors are great. It shoots raw and JPEG. Unlike the ZV-1F, that only does JPEG. This does both raw and JPEG. So you know, all colors are great, and you can pull your shadows out. You can pull the highlights down if it's slightly overexposed, you know, if you're shooting raw. Really flexible little photography camera. I think the vast majority of reviewers have only reviewed this primarily as a video camera. It is seen as a video camera, content creation camera. I see it more as a hybrid camera. I see it's great for stills and great for video. It is a great little video camera because I use it here in the studio for video. So I use it as the close-up camera. Which I'm doing with my original ZV-1, as I said earlier. So it is a great content creation camera. It has got the mic jack on the side. It has no headphone jack, so just bear that in mind with it. But it has got mic jack on the side there if you do need to use, you know, an external microphone. And it has got USB-C port now on the side, as opposed to the micro USB, which my original ZV-1's micro USB, which is a bit of a pain to be honest, but this has got USB-C, which is great for power delivery. Again, I've used it in the studio here for quite a few videos, and it's great. I can plug the USB-C lead in and not worry about the battery running out, because that is always a concern with these little tiny little cameras. Batteries do tend to run out fairly quickly. It's a little BX1 battery, and they're only tiny, so you don't get a tremendous amount of battery life out of this tiny little battery. But you know, if you're going out and about, just put a couple of spare batteries in your pocket, and you've got no problem there. You know, I don't see it as an issue one little bit. Now, I have also noticed, since I've been using this camera, which I didn't really notice at first, the startup time and shutdown time is vastly improved from the original ZV-1. And that's great when you're going out and about. So, you know, you power it up, even just by opening the screen, that'll turn the camera on, or you can just turn it on by pushing the power switch on the top of the camera, either or. But the great thing is, with the ZV-1, it took quite a long time for at least 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, for the lens to go back in and shut down when you're out and about. And that's quite a bit annoying. This is pretty much instant. So, you know, you fold the screen back and the lens has gone straight in. That's shut down straight away. Not even a second, you know, really, really quick. And I found that really useful, and a really, really big improvement over the original ZV-1. It has got phase detect autofocus, which you would expect on a modern camera, unlike the old Panasonic cameras that used contrast detect autofocus. This has got phase detect, and the human detect is great. The eye detect is brilliant, and it has got tracking, so you can actually pick a focus point and the camera will track that. So you can you just tap the screen, and then that will see, it brings up the focus point, and the camera will track that focus point. So that works great. To cancel that, you just push the sensor button and that cancels the tracking. Works really great. The animal and human eye detect works great as well. I've had no issues with that. I love using the camera. The little grip actually I find fine. I did buy a grip to fit on it, but I find I prefer it without the added grip. I find that fine. It's nice and comfortable. Don't have an issue with it. I think that works great for me. I'm not knocking any buttons. It's got quite a nice thumb rest on the back there, and I find I can walk around with that without any issues. And so I can get to the controls easy enough. It has got a soft button here for toggling between your video photography and slow and quick motion. It's got dedicated slow and quick motion, so you can preset that up to how you want that to shoot, which is great. It is only 8-bit video as opposed to 10-bit video. A little bit disappointing. I was hoping they might have gone with 10-bit video, but they didn't. It's only 8-bit. But still fine for me here in the studio. I don't do color grading, so I don't need to worry about 10-bit video. I'm not doing green screen work with this camera either. When I set up my new studio and I'm doing any green screen work, I will definitely be using the ZV-E10 Mark II, one of my Fuji's, one of my cameras basically that has 10-bit recording. Like my A7C, the original A7C I'm using now for the close-up camera, is also only an 8-bit camera. So I wouldn't use that for green screen work, because you do really need 10-bit if you're doing green screen work or you're doing any color grading. But yeah, nice and compact. It has got the accessory shoe, the multi-interface shoe on the top, but I have found though with that multi-interface shoe, some accessories don't work with it. For example, I haven't got it here, the XLR adapter doesn't work with this camera, and also annoyingly I haven't been able to get the B1M, the ECM B1M microphone to work with this camera. Works great on the ZV-E10 Mark II. I've not been able to get it to work on the ZV-1 Mark II, which is a shame, considering this is a newer model. I thought this would work fine with it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. I have tried it in the analog mode. I still couldn't get it to work, but the wireless W3s that Sony make work great. Again, no cables needed. Plug that straight into the accessory shoe and you've got a wireless microphone all set up, ready to go. So I can just plug that straight into there and then that's ready to go. So when I am going out and if I do think I'm going to need any audio, I will just shove that in my pocket because I've got a wireless microphone ready to go with this particular little camera. So yeah, great little travel camera. As I say, there's a lot of people that are put off by the 1-inch sensor, but for doing stills, it is a great little camera. I've had no issues with it at all. I mean, it's a great little camera for going out and about, getting your stills. Again, they are really, really nice and sharp. You don't get that bokeh, you don't get that real big depth between the foreground and the background because of a 1-inch sensor. But that suits me as a travel camera because I'm looking for point and shoot images that I can use, and they're nice and sharp, the colours are good, and just get, you know, really, really nice images. So yeah, great little camera, really glad that I purchased it. I was always really pleased with my little ZV-1. The other great thing with this camera, when I set up the new studio and be setting up a podcasting studio, I can take this, the ZV-1, the ZV-E10, as three very, very capable little cameras. I can set up a 3-camera shoot with just 3 tiny little cameras, and I can move them around easy enough. So that's going to be really, really useful for me, and that's what I will be doing when I set up my new photo podcasting studio here in Swindon. So there we go. As for little ZV-1, I don't think I need to say anything else. It has got ND filter built in. It's a 3-stop ND filter, so that's handy for video. I tend not to use it for stills, but again, I've got it set up on a function menu, so you can go into here and then switch on the ND filters using the function menu, or you can pre-assign a function button. I've got the other function button set up for setting the screen resolution to either manual or sunny weather. And again, I found on the ZV-E10 Mark II, in sunny weather, it works lovely. It doesn't bleach. Where the original ZV-1 and the ZV-E10, the two originals, is really a bleached image. So you can't check your exposure when you're using sunny mode. You can on these two cameras, but it works great. And I love that because there is no viewfinder on the ZV-1, the ZV-1 Mark II and the original ZV-1. It's great that I can increase the screen brightness of the screen when you're using it in sunny weather. I've used it out here in bright sunny weather. Not that we get much sunny days in Swindon, but we do occasionally. It works great. I've not had any issues where I've not been able to compose the image because there is no viewfinder. But again here, gorgeous sharpness. Just really, really nice sharpness and clarity. It's not just the sharpness, it's the overall tone that I like of it. Just looks really nice. Looks absolutely lovely. You know, those images are print without any trouble whatsoever. So there we go, yeah. As for little ZV-1 Mark II, after a couple of months of using it, I love it. I find it's really handy for both video and photography. So there we go. Thanks very much. I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button if you like the content of my videos. We'd really, really appreciate that. It does help me grow the channel. Cheers for now. Bye.